This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Tuesday. No, I'm not really feeling any better. The cats did not want to let me sleep last night. They woke me up every hour on the hour, being assholes, because this is what the cats do. But it's okay. Especially Socks. Like, I would get cuddled up with Socks. And then he'd just pop up and go over to the door and start pounding on the door like... Socks. Not really. I love that cat. For the most part, that cat's pretty sweet. Did not want to let me sleep. Got a major announcement to make. I wasn't going to use this this meme. Mox, good evening. No, the cats kept me up all night, so I don't feel like I'm going to vomit everywhere tonight. But I am still fucking tired. Got a major announcement I'm going to make, though. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to tell you who the guest host is going to be for this Friday's Friday Night Freak Show. It's a big one. Got the most notable guest that we have ever had on the Friday Night Freak Show for this Friday's Christmas edition. Cats do be doing that. I don't even have a cat. They're all somewhere else causing trouble. Oh, shit. So yeah, we're going to do Troll Patrol special on Saturday night. Sunday night, no Troll Patrol. Christmas Day, we're going to do a fucking around stream. Watch Christmas specials all through the years. If we have power, apparently there's a storm, a brewing. Gonna hit most of the United States. We're gonna talk about that here in a little bit. Friday night, the Christmas Eve Friday Night Freak Show. A very, very special guest host that I'm gonna announce here in just a little bit. I'm not announcing it yet because I'm not high enough for this shit. I do have a meme for you though, speaking of my cats.
Come on, man.
Oh yeah, I had those shits loaded up because I ended the stream abruptly last night. Someone claiming to know Socrates up in their face. I'm gonna redo this meme, and it's gonna be someone with salmon, and then I'm gonna put Socks's face, because that's what Socks be doing. Be all up in your face if you got some salmon. That's what my Socrates be doing. I believe this is referring to, you know, the gadfly from back in Athens. High enough for this shit. And I'm gonna wait for everybody to get in here before I make the big announcement. Special guest co-host is for Friday night's Freak Show. I'm telling you, it's a big one. You guys got any guesses? But before we get to that, let's run down what we're going to be talking about on tonight's stream. I'm going to cover a couple of things that I had for last night, such as Flynn's testimony. We didn't get around to that, but I really want to know exactly what Michael Flynn said. This is testimony to the January 6th committee, where he pled the fifth many times. We're going to hear from the Fox News legal analyst, Jonathan Turley. Says that the real victims on January 6th were the GOP. We have a suspect in the stalking of Elon Musk and his kid. Apparently, it's a member of his own security team. Wild. Ben Shapiro calls Musk stepping down from Twitter terrifying. I'm sorry, slightly terrifying. There's a qualifier on there. It's slightly terrifying. We're going to go over the story of, apparently there is a manhunt underway in the country. I believe it started in Ohio. 2 children missing. One has been recovered and one is still missing. The authorities rundown on what's going on there. We're going to talk about the government funding bill. It has until Friday to pass a bill to avoid a shutdown. I believe they're on the floor talking about it right now. Senate, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to hear from McConnell. Funding bill. Also gave his thoughts on the race to replace Kevin McCarthy. Race for House Speaker featuring wannabe Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz says he thinks he can stop McCarthy from becoming Speaker. Got a bit of a catfight feud going on between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. Boebert mocked a gas price expert, not knowing how anything works. Judge in the Kari Lake lawsuit in Arizona throws out most of the lawsuit, but allows like 2 counts to go forward. Kari Lake asking for your prayers. Lawyers have withdrawn their subpoena for Katie Hobbs. North Carolina County is set to hold another election. A local poll worker wrongly claimed a candidate had died. I haven't got a chance to read this story yet. This is one of those that I had for last night. Apparently, a Republican congressman lied about fucking everything. Higher persona is a fraud. I'm looking forward to that. When Fox News claims a pro-life activist was arrested for silently praying near an abortion facility, I would assume they were trespassing. You don't just get arrested for silently praying in a public area. You probably trespassing. Christian pastor says they can't get a lease, new building to hold their hate rallies. Got some relationship news. Apparently, the internet upset with one Mr. Barack Obama because he admitted that he once considered divorcing Michelle. I don't know if this is a business or a personal relationship, but disgraced former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, spotted having dinner with disgraced former White House advisor Kellyanne Conway. He's always been disgraced. That's not like just a new title or a superlative. It's always been disgraced. Or she ever even was a part of the Trump White House. I tell you about holiday travel and the life-threatening cold hit most of the U.S. Plus, I'm going to show you a cat that tries to block a field goal. Cat out on the field. Not really, but that's going to be fun. All that and more tonight on the Troll Patrol. Simp, good evening. Mox, good evening. Are you guys ready to hear who the special guest co-host is going to be for Friday night's Christmas Eve edition? Friday Night Freak Show. Put it up on the YouTube. Who is it? Who is it? Craleo. Not Nick Fuentes. Not Nick Fuentes. The special guest co-host for this Friday's Friday Night Freak Show, Krampus. Krampus will be joining us. the Christmas Eve edition of the Friday Night Freak Show. Easing it for a couple of days now. I landed a big time guest this Friday, Krampus, co-hosting the Friday Night Freak Show. Carpe, good evening. I'm so stoked for this. It's worked out better than I thought it. So it is Nick Fuentes. No, Krampus is way cooler than Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes wishes he could pull the pussy that Krampus can pull. I am very, very stoked. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. Working out better than I could ever imagine, too. Special guest co-host. I asked Media Winch. She was my first pick. I believe she's going to be at a concert. So I had to go with the next best thing. I found a Krampus. Oh, shit. Squid, good evening. A Yule goat burning? Sounds like something that'll get you a visit from Krampus. Told by somebody in chat last night that Steven Crowder is the goat. Goat of what? I'm not exactly sure. But somebody in the chat had that opinion. I think they're probably fucking stupid. That's just me. What do I know, right? Also, phone lines are indeed... Yes, I will not tell Krampus that, Man B. Media Winch felt honored, though. That I thought of her ahead of Krampus. Somebody tried to call into the show at 7:23 a.m. So that's wild. So I tried to call the show at 7:23 this morning. If you would like to call in, the phone lines are indeed open. 917-830-4359. Also got the Discord going. Calls and comments, unscreened and unedited. Fucking Krampus. Excited. So, he did call in. He left a voice message. It's just like him rambling.
I'm going to try and give you an idea of exactly the path I've taken in life and how I ended up coming to Christ and how Christ saved my life, saved me from total destruction. And I think I want to go back and start off.
Yeah, I would have been glad to have this conversation with him.
To my young years when I was in like elementary school real quick.
I'm not just going to sit here and listen to you droll on, you stupid fuck.
And get into the nitty-gritty. Won't take long.
It took long enough for the phone system to cut you off, sir. You left a 3-minute voicemail. When they put me in the mental hospital, I actually told this story on the not the Freak Show. We did a just chatting stream the other night. The story, like my college probably thought I needed to be tested for bipolar, and I didn't have insurance, and I had to go to the mental hospital for a little bit, inpatient facility, and there was one of the groups I had to go to, some dude talking about how, he was some religious fuck that, was a wild biker doing meth back in the day, but he had to turn his life around because of Jesus or he would have died, that kind of story. I went up to him afterwards and was like, fucking dude, if you got off drugs, you did that. Jesus didn't do that. You fucking did that. You were selling yourself short. Like, I gave him this whole speech and he was not prepared for that. Ida, good evening. So glad to see you tonight. I'm still not feeling well, but hopefully I'm not gonna like just leave you guys abruptly like I did last night. I was worried that I might blow chunks. I did not, though. I passed the fuck out not long after that. Crashed. Then, you know, had the cats wake me up on the hour every hour. Cats are like that. Still fucking tired. I told my buddy I would play Mortal Kombat with him tonight. Because it's been a long time since I played Mortal Kombat with him. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to get again. He probably doesn't want me to play Mortal Kombat with him because last time we did, I whooped his ass. I don't even think he won a round. I was that fucking good. Well, I'm not on top of my game. I don't want to go play games. All right, so we're gonna start off tonight. Tadpole, good evening. I'm a killer with Sub-Zero now. I got two different Sub-Zeros. One is a finesse Sub-Zero and one is a brute dog Sub-Zero. I have carefully with their moveset. Anyway, what that news be doing? We're gonna go to Columbus, where the police chief is making a plea for a suspected kidnapper to return a 5-month-old. Apparently, two children's were kidnapped. One has been found and returned. Another one still missing, and they are on the lookout for a suspect. Get the deets.
Kevin Landers was there when police addressed the media, and he also spoke with the child's grandmother and father. Now, he's live at Columbus headquarters now with their plea for help. Kevin?
Stop being a Kevin.
The family says it has no idea why the suspect would steal a car with two children inside. The family is just praying that 5-month-old Kason is found safe. Police believe he is in danger. Somewhere, a 5-month-old is without his mother. His twin brother now safe with his father.
He was found outside. She left my baby for dead.
God.
Outside in the cold.
Yes, sir.
5-month-old Kason Thomas.
Why are you dumping one kid and not the other, though?
He and his brother were abducted inside a running car while their mother ran in to get a DoorDash order from this Donato's in the short north. Police say Nala Jackson, a homeless woman from Columbus, is the suspect. We spoke to the father as he was driving around Columbus looking for his other son. Do you know anything about her?
No, I have no clue who she is.
He says his other son was found by police outside the Dayton airport. Did they say how long he'd been outside?
They said it was about 10 minutes, no longer than 10 minutes.
The family says it's furious with police for waiting hours before sending out a statewide Amber Alert. Police and OHP say they needed to make sure it met the criteria, and there was confusion over the make and model of the car that was stolen.
Columbus police refused to put out an Amber Alert as many times as we asked. We didn't get one until almost 3 to 4 hours after they were missing. This lady has so much time on them right now. I don't know where my baby is.
And she went to the airport?
There was a delay.
Obviously, I think that in a perfect world, we would love to have had it out a little bit earlier, but that our officers did the best they could dealing with the chaotic scene.
Even the chief of police said she had no idea of the abduction until the next day, blaming it on a lack of communication.
There was a lapse in communication.
Wait, this didn't happen today? Yes, this just keeps getting worse. My God. Because I saw the story earlier today and assumed there was a manhunt underway today, but apparently this happened yesterday.
Admit there was a delay.
Obviously, I think that in a perfect world, we would love to have had it out a little bit earlier, but that our officers did the best they could dealing with the chaotic scene.
Even the chief of police said she had no idea of the abduction until the next day, blaming it on a lack of communication.
There was a lapse in communication. Had I known, we would have had the press conference last night or early this morning. And that's just the reality. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But that doesn't mean that the team wasn't doing the work.
And like, it is of the utmost importance to there's been a kidnapping, to get it out as quickly as possible. God damn.
Now, police say the last known sighting of Jackson was in Huber Heights near Dayton. They believe they're not sure if she is still there or if she's driving the same car where she abducted this child from. Now, police are pleading with Jackson to drop off this child anywhere safe with no questions asked. Reporting live outside police.
Keep the car.
Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Kevin, thank you. Let's head to
drop off the kid.
Hear the moment one of the infant boys was found. 10 TV's Lindsay Mills continues our team coverage tonight.
Police from Columbus and Dayton were...
I just don't... Okay, you drop one of the kids off. Why not the other one as well? What, you're like, oh, well, I'm keeping this one. This one's cute. What?
Here at Dayton International Airport today, looking for evidence in the economy lot where little Kyer was left alone in the bitter cold. He was found 7 hours after the car he was buckled in was stolen from the Donatos in the Short North. A traveler parking here to head out made the shocking discovery and called 911 immediately.
Calling from the economy lot at Dayton International Airport, and we just discovered a baby in a baby carriage in the parking lot.
Kyer's twin, Kason, is believed to be in danger, and authorities are urging anyone with information to call police. Columbus police say there may have been one sighting in the Dayton area before the child was left here. Columbus police are reviewing video surveillance from the airport. At Dayton International Airport, Lindsay Mills.
And maybe one was screaming, and she's like, well, let's get rid of this one.
In this case, Nolly Jackson. Chief Bryant indicated that Jackson has a criminal history, which we followed up and looked up. Jackson has a current case in municipal court for aggravated menacing and telecommunications harassment. We don't know if it's linked to today's events. She also has a child endangering charge from 2021. We found other cases involving Jackson dating back to 1998.
So what is required for an Amber Alert to be sent?
I should laugh at that.
State Highway Patrol is the agency in charge of putting out Amber Alerts. The Department of Public Safety shared the criteria with us today. It includes the missing child is under the age of 18. Law enforcement believes the abduction puts the child in immediate danger, and there's enough information to believe the alert will help find the child.
I believe all of those criteria were met. Oh yeah, absolutely. Arm the kid. If the babies had been armed, this wouldn't have happened. They couldn't have got carjacked if they were packing. Come the fuck on. Arm the babies. A good baby with a gun. The only way to stop a bad guy, a carjacking, is a good baby with a gun. Well, speaking of children and stalkers and shit like that, let's talk about Elon Musk. What a week this fuck has had. Police in Southern California said Tuesday that they were seeking additional information about an incident last week that Twitter CEO Elon Musk said prompted him to crack down on accounts that track whereabouts of private jets, including his. December 13th incident in Los Angeles area highway has become a flashpoint for a debate about online speech and the dissemination of personal information, although authorities had previously said little about what happened. A Tuesday statement, police in South Pasadena said the incident involved a member of Musk's security team, whose vehicle hit the car of a man he alleged was following him. Police called the security team member a suspect. They did not say what crimes they suspected him of committing, but said they were investigating a report of an assault with a deadly weapon involving a vehicle. So Elon was lying. Musk's description of the incident was different last week in justifying his decision to ban the Twitter account of @ElonJet, which publishes the location of his private airplane, Musk said that a stalker had used location information from the account to follow and confront a car carrying one of his children. As somebody else pointed out, a car carrying one of his children, I didn't even think about this. Did that motherfucker put baby XIVI blah 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 in a Tesla by itself and then program the Tesla to take the baby to Grimes? Is that what happened? Also, as someone else pointed out on Twitter, the guy that named his baby XYZ Beta Alpha, whatever the fuck, making fun of people with pronouns. It looks like that what actually happened is one of Elon's security detail hit the dude. The dude, maybe he was following because apparently he was a Grimes fan. That's come out. Might have been stalking Grimes and not Elon. It looks like a member of Elon's security team actually hit the dude. So remember, the notion that the stalker jumped on his car could have been, no, one of Elon's security actually ran him the fuck over. Business Insider reporter Lynette Lopez, who has covered Musk and Tesla for years, and Elon jet creator Jack Sweeney are among those still banned from Twitter. Twitter did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the police statement. In their statement, police said a 29-year-old man from Connecticut had pulled off a highway shortly before 10 p.m. to use his cell phone in a gas station. While parked, the man said another vehicle pulled directly in front of him, blocking his path. The driver of the second vehicle, described by police as Musk's security team member, then accused the Connecticut man of following him. Each party captured video during the dispute. I mean, we saw Elon's video where he basically docks the dude. And that makes it even worse. Man, if the dude was innocent in all this, Elon posted his fucking license plate on Twitter while banning accounts for doxing people. Holy shit. He said as Musk's security team member was leaving the parking lot, he struck the Connecticut man with his vehicle and then fled. When officers arrived on the scene, the suspect had already left the area. Detectives do not believe Musk was present during the confrontation, according to the statement. Washington Post reported a person who identified himself as the driver featured in the video of the confrontation that Musk shared online said he has an interest in Musk and the mother of two of children. Bouchard, who is better known as the musician Grimes. ABC News has not verified those statements or who was in the video. Apparently, Grimes lives within the area where the confrontation took place. Well, I mean, Musk is a habitual liar. And if you were going to stalk somebody, at least Grimes has some talent. Oh, shit. I'm a Grimes fan. She's weird, though. Ben Shapiro calls Elon Musk's poll on stepping down from Twitter slightly terrifying. Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro says he finds Elon Musk's latest Twitter poll, in which the CEO asked users to weigh in on whether he should step down from his post as CEO, slightly terrifying. I believe Musk is now claiming that the poll was influenced by bots. Of course he is.
Well, Elon Musk bought Twitter not all that long ago, and he's been a very hands-on owner. He's been formulating Twitter policy in real time, banning accounts, bringing back accounts, doing everything by Twitter poll.
Yes, we watched that, Squid.
Elon Musk put out a poll asking whether he should step down as the active head of Twitter. This doesn't mean he'll give up ownership of Twitter, of course, but he put out a poll saying that he would pledge to abide by the results of the poll.
The rumor going around
Elon
is
Musk
that the
Twitter.
Saudis are who is like a majority owner in Twitter. Maybe they own a plurality of the stock. Maybe not the majority. They are a large shareholder in Twitter. God damn it! I hate MSN. I tried to find this clip from somewhere else and I could not.
And nearly 60% of people.
But the rumor is that the Saudis are telling Musk he needs to step down.
People on Twitter were polled, said that Musk should not remain the CEO of Twitter. Now, here's the thing. I think Musk is smart enough to know what the result was going to be ahead of time.
Musk isn't smart.
He thought that 60% of people were going to say yeah. So what this really looks more like is a transition plan. He wants to make it look like the people wanted him to step out of the way, and then he'll appoint somebody else to run Twitter. But this does speak to the way that Twitter is
magnanimous of him,
which is very ad hoc. Again, I don't have a problem with that because I would rather that there be someone at the top of the food chain to blame as opposed to the way Twitter was being run. But this does
you couldn't blame Jack Dorsey before?
Into at least some chaos because nobody actually knows what's coming next. I have no information suggesting that Elon Musk actually knows who would replace him as CEO of Twitter. It's not like he has somebody waiting in the wings, and this is all a setup. This is all seed to the pants.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. On one hand, fun, and on the other hand, slightly terrifying for those who actually are trying to figure out what standards Twitter is attempting to apply here. Bottom line is this. Whoever is going to come in for Musk, because now he's pledged that he's going to step aside and he's going to put in some sort of new CEO, here is the standard that ought to be applied. The standard that ought to be applied is a pure First Amendment free speech standard. That's what ought to happen.
Saudis.
And then all other standards ought to be made.
The Saudis own a hell of a lot of things. No, Twitter's a public company.
Made transparent. If you're going to downgrade tweets that are First Amendment protected, but you don't want getting wide dissemination, you should have a transparent process whereby people can quickly see why the thing is being downgraded. I will say that Musk has been radically transparent, even though he is doing things, seat to the pants. He's being very transparent about why he is doing things and how he is doing things. And the answer is he's doing because he feels like it. Whoever comes in next should continue that policy of radical transparency, but should take a very strict First Amendment standard with regard to Twitter in the United States. Well, one of the big problems for international companies like Twitter is that
Saudi
the free
Prince
speech standards in the United States are not the free speech standards.
Al-Walid is Twitter's second largest shareholder.
People can quickly see why the thing is being downgraded. I will say that Musk has been radically transparent, even though he is doing things, seat to the pants. He's being very transparent about why he is doing things and how he is doing things. And the answer is he's doing because he feels like it. Whoever comes in next.
Apparently, they took more of possession of more of the stock following Elon's acquisition.
Transparent about why he is doing things and how he is doing things. And the answer is he's doing because he feels like it. Whoever comes in next should continue that policy of radical transparency, but should take a very strict First Amendment standard with regard to Twitter in the United States. Well, one of the big problems for international companies like Twitter is that the free speech standards in the United States are not the free speech standards that apply in, say, France or Britain, where actual quote-unquote hate speech can be prosecuted. They don't have the same First Amendment standards over in Europe. So the best that Twitter probably can do, realistically speaking, is promulgate standards that are allowed by various governments in various parts of the West.
Apparently, it was EU law that got Elon to reinstate the Mastodon account because EU doesn't take monopolies lightly. Monopolistic behavior to block one of your competition on social media. So good on the EU. But from Twitter drama to government drama, we are coming up on a possible government shutdown come Friday, which would be catastrophic heading into the holidays. Let's get an update on where they're at.
Pretty much everyone, except for a few Gen Zers who are ahead of the curve.
Oh, I was wondering, why are they talking about Privacy Watch? Oh, why were they talking about Privacy Watch? Oh, that is because funding to block TikTok was apparently inside of the omnibus bill. Soup from a breadline. Good evening.
A smartphone in their pocket by now, but that means there are more opportunities for companies to monitor, collect, and sell your information.
Yeah, CBS News' Scott McFarlane has a look at how TikTok is capturing not only your data, but also your friends' data as well.
But critics say TikTok might know too much. So we're scrolling through here,
tracking its users' likes, dislikes, and more.
Your email address, there's your phone number, the Wi-Fi network you're connected with.
We asked Gizmodo reporter Thomas Germain to show us how TikTok sweeps up data.
And right there, it's uploading. And we saw those servers light up there as the data was going up for my phone.
There they all are. Right. They now have access to all of your contacts.
They're looking through all of my contacts.
But that, once again, just to put this into context, all apps do that. And I always take the opportunity to point out that the government does not need to get a warrant for information that companies hand over willingly to them, and that you hand over willingly to companies.
Who knows what they're doing with it? They're definitely keeping track of everything that's in there, whether those people are on TikTok or not. And the interesting thing there is my friends didn't consent to having their phone numbers and emails uploaded in TikTok.
Meantime, Epic Games, the maker of the popular video game Fortnite, has agreed to pay $275 million in civil penalties to settle claims accusing the company of collecting children's information without their parents' consent. With us now is Alexandra Seymour. She is an associate fellow for the Technology and National Security Program at the Center for a New American Security. Alexandra, you know, we were talking about how much these social media companies have been able to glean about
funding bill is what I was
TikTok's
thinking we were covering.
Your data, your friends' data.
Good evening.
With all of this, you wouldn't fault people for just feeling like it's time to throw our hands up in the air and say our information can't be kept totally secure. What do you say?
Yeah, certainly there are ways. First of all, thank you so much for having me. So I think that one thing we have to recognize is that there really is no privacy anymore, just in the sense that there is so much data that is being collected on us at every moment. But what we do need to know is the things that we can do to make sure that we are protecting ourselves. So whether it's location data, whether it's phone numbers, it's emails, a lot of this is within the apps themselves, where they will ask for your consent to say, can we collect this information? And it's up to users to make sure that they understand how to turn some of these settings off. Now, at the same time, what we also need to recognize is that this is really incumbent on some of the companies to make sure that they're being transparent in the way that they collect data.
Everyone hop on aboard the omnibus.
And to make sure that they
omnibus may not be coming, though. They'll get to that eventually in this piece, I guess.
About the way that their data is being collected, because it is a scary thing to recognize that these companies are able to pull together all of this information and essentially build a profile on you. And even if the data is anonymous, taken together, can build out your preferences, your associations, and other likes of the matter.
I can't tell you how many things I own that I did not need before Instagram offered me, and suddenly
there's also that hazard, right?
Suddenly it belongs to me. You know, one thing is those switches that you can toggle on and off.
Good evening.
That you were mentioning to protect your privacy, but what legal protections actually exist to prevent companies from misusing customer data?
Yeah, so actually, this is very different on a state basis.
No protections.
We don't right now have a comprehensive data privacy law at the federal level. So that means that really a lot of states have taken this on themselves to start putting those protections into place. California is probably the most notable example in terms of somewhere where there's more robust protections. But otherwise, this really is both up to the state to implement some of those legal protections. And then it also is on the companies as well to make sure that they are implementing practices that are protecting users and making sure that they're being transparent with users in terms of how their data is being collected and exactly where it's going.
Again, this is an issue that I feel that we need to tackle, but our government is woefully unprepared to tackle it because a lot of them are old and don't even know how the internet works.
Though it is probably in the most bipartisan shape that it has been in terms of when it has come up beforehand, but it is something that we will likely see continue to be discussed for the next couple of Congresses.
Well, you know, it's interesting as you're talking about Congress, because in 2019, the New York Times did a study. They found that they could track the president, at that point it was President Trump, by monitoring data from a Secret Service agent's phone. How could a foreign adversary like Russia or China use that information? And what hope do we have, again, of protecting our own security when even the president of the United States could be tracked?
I think the most important thing to note is that when you're talking about global strategic competition, it is a competition for information advantage. So this is
it is a global issue, but our government needs to tackle it. We need a Bill of Rights for our data.
To track individuals, as you mentioned, whether that's the individual themselves in terms of putting the different types of data together, or if it is by association as well. It might not be the senior level person whose phone is being tracked in that moment, but if they have someone who closely is with them at most times of the day, there's a way to put two and two together in that sense. There's also cybersecurity concerns that stem from that as well, in terms of when you have this types of information, being able to create more tailored phishing attacks against individuals because you're able to track their patterns and their habits to make them seem more realistic. There's also concerns about
Leo, he is a flight risk. We should have an ankle monitor on him.
On individuals who might be working in sensitive areas. This was the case with Strava.
Elon might fly him out of the country.
Heat map a couple of years ago, and it had exposed some more military sites inadvertently. And then there's also the concerns about just powering technological development as well.
They never even touched on the omnibus bill. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I chose this piece to talk about the 1.7 trillion funding bill. They didn't even go there. They talked about TikTok and Fortnite the whole time. Ow. I guess I'll just have to read it myself. Politico. Lawmakers unveil government funding bill to stave off Friday shutdown. They do have a piece on here. About it, Politico.
I have good news. With days left before...
You gonna tell us about Jesus? Is Chucky Schumer gonna tell us about the good news? He's joined the Jews for Jesus movement. You heard the good news about Christ. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
I have good news. With days left before Christmas, Democrats and Republicans have reached an omnibus agreement completed at 1:15 a.m. early this morning. After a lot of hard work, this
we're burning the midnight oil.
Aggressive investment in American families, American workers, and America's national defense. It'll give our troops a raise, make health care more affordable for millions, and it fulfills...
Yet another bill where we're giving the Pentagon more money than what they even asked for.
...fulfills the promise Democrats made to defend democracy at home and abroad through the ECA. The clock is now ticking until government front runs out this Friday. Between now and the end of the week, the watchwords for the Senate will be speed and cooperation.
Oh, Tones totally has a Twitch account. Tones comes over to Twitch.
Today.
And Tones is home.
Members should be ready
Tones is not home when
to
Tones
lay
is
the
on
omnibus
YouTube.
before the Senate as soon as this afternoon.
Oui, monsieur.
We must finish passing this omnibus before the deadline on Friday when government funding runs out.
Would indeed be catastrophic. Some people watch on YouTube because they want to catch the whole show. Thing. But that's why I like being on multiple platforms, so you can decide how you want to consume the Troll Patrol. Also, my apologies to those of you who listen to this show as a podcast. It's a good time to mention this. For a couple weeks there, I was uploading the video. And the video, if I go 4 or 5 hours, video takes forever to process and upload. So it wasn't hitting the podcast feed until 7, 8, 9 in the morning. And some people like listening to the Troll Patrol overnight while maybe they're working. I've started putting up the audio and then putting up the video later because I was trying to take advantage of Spotify. They're pushing their video podcast. So I was trying to, get into the feed. So putting up both has actually worked out really well. We've gained some new followers. Putting both up. Elon totally doesn't want me on Twitter and totally has not given me my original account back. I have and I've been very open about, I am flaunting a ban right now with the Twitter account that I have. I would like Mr. Justin Freakin back. I would really like that account back.
Together more. If we don't know and respect each other.
Shut up, Leahy. Leading lawmakers unveiled a $1.7 trillion year-end spending bill early on Tuesday. They raced to pass the sprawling package by week's end. The so-called omnibus would provide the military with $858 billion fiscal year, a nearly 10% increase over current levels because we need to spend more on the military. It would fund domestic programs at more than 707. And by the way, I don't think that 858 billion includes the billions that we're going to be sending to Ukraine. Fund domestic programs at more than 772 billion. So yeah, 858 billion for war. Funding the military machine. 772 billion for domestic programs, including $119 billion, or a 22% increase for veterans' medical care. It is expected to act first on the spending package in the coming days, seeking a time agreement that would allow the bill to pass before Thursday night and sending it to the House. Any senator could hold up that deal in exchange for amendments or concessions. Senate Minority Whip John Thune said Monday that he expected conservatives to push for an amendment related to stripping out earmarks, projects in lawmakers' home states. I don't anticipate that it would be real thorny getting to a final vote, but it might take a little time, Thune said, adding that with the holidays looming, the thing that somebody has to trade is time. The biggest holdup to releasing the text on Monday came instead from a dispute among Democrats, first reported by Politico, related to the location of the FBI's new headquarters. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer and other Marylanders were pushing to get language inserted into the bill that would favor their home state by changing the GSA's criteria for selecting the location, while Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine of Virginia were pushing to keep language out of the spending bill, keeping current guidelines in place that would favor Virginia. Sides ultimately agreed to disagree. Instead, they worked out a deal requiring the head of the GSA to meet with representatives from both states to consider their ideas on the FBI's mission requirements, equity, and potential site sustainability, according to a Senate Democratic aide. Why not just go ahead and abolish the FBI? The right-wingers seem to be, now's the time. Strike when the iron's hot. I'm all for it. Let's hear what Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say about the bill. McConnell is ignoring threats and breaking with House praising the spending bill. That's how you know it's bad, if McConnell is praising it.
Come on, man.
Republicans achieved essentially all our priorities. What the fuck? Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell praised the omnibus spending bill to fund the government through September of 2023 during a press conference Tuesday, despite House Republicans crying foul.
Well, we're moving toward completing the business for the year, and I think in a highly productive way from the point of view of the vast majority of Senate Republicans.
The fucker that wants to get out of town, head back to Louisville.
This bill that'll be on the floor provides a real dollar increase.
Needs to go back to his turtle sanctuary.
Defense baseline and a real dollar cut for the non-defense baseline if you exclude veterans.
So, a boost for defense spending, a cut for everything else. Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, we're moving toward...
that's this country's priorities.
For the non-defense baseline. Well, we're moving toward...
God damn it, I hate this site.
for the defense productive veterans. That is absolutely critical in breaking the pattern we've had in the past when we've ended up in one of these situations.
This is the time of year when McTurtle molts in his
Every
shell.
time Republicans tried to get an increase in defense, we would in effect have to pay a ransom to the Democrats on the domestic side, wholly aside from the needs
I'm down with that, Ida.
of the country. So let's step back and say, what are the real needs of the country right now? They're in the defense part of our expenditures, making sure the Defense Department can deal with the major threats coming from Russia and China.
Those really are major threats?
For the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians. That's the number one priority for the United States right now, according to most Republicans. That's sort of how we see the challenges confronting the country at the moment.
So Republicans' number one priority is Ukraine.
I'm pretty proud of the fact that with a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate, we were able to achieve, through this omnibus spending bill, essentially all.
Joni Ernst looks really nervous behind McConnell, and that's Thune over his right shoulder. I don't know why Joni Ernst was just like, her eyes were darting back and forth. Now, this is still going to be a uphill battle with the House Republicans, who are apparently splintering. Matt Gaetz claims to have critical mass needed to sabotage Kevin McCarthy's